So my name is Dirk. I'm from Geneva, Switzerland, and I'm very deeply involved in Ukraine since the very beginning, since '93. Altogether, I did 3 long trips, or four trips even, and it was scaring to see how the atmosphere over from trip to trip changed into much more radical mood. If at the beginning it was purely a lot of people just screaming around, mainly older people still, mainly screaming Russia, Russia. And when you go there, you consider them as some kind of like half lunatics. No one really knew what exactly they wanted, except that they were against the junta, in new junta in Kiev. But it was for me more an assembly of lunatics, and those lunatics start to become more and more radical. At the beginning, you could see like an imitation of Euromaidan, because whenever they seized the building, they immediately had to put tires all around, Losungen banners, copying one-to-one what we were doing. For me, it was at the beginning still funny when I heard the first pro Donbass songs, also copying our revolution songs here. So then appeared the first baseball bats and chains. Then each of those fighters start to be with Kalashnikovs and other automatic rifles. Then you had to have at least a grenade launcher to be someone in the Donbass. And today it is pure war. I think the turning point was the first real war clash somehow was after the election of Poroshenko, when they tried to fight for the airport in Donetsk. We got caught in this, and as soon as you start to have artillery involved, it's war. At the beginning, there were a lot of young people, like here's the young people on the barricades. There was a lot of young people there. Now you don't have young people involved in those clashes anymore. It's professional fighters, maybe not professional soldiers, but definitely professional mercenaries. And from my own experience, I can confirm that part of them, maybe big parts, as I don't know, but part of them definitely don't look Ukrainian. When we got stuck in the living house during the shelling of the airport in Donetsk, there were definitely people with big beards, bold with big beards, speaking Russian, when they spoke Russian with a terrible accent. So I don't know from where those people were, whether it's Chechnya or Dagestan or Ingushetia or Ossetia, but they didn't look to me very Ukrainian. What started like zombieization first, involving a lot of people, is now ending into a real war that maybe a lot of people don't control anymore, and you cannot compare Donbass from March 2014 to Donbass in August 2014. It went from a protest, a pro-Russian protest with arguments that were absolutely invented at the end of the day, because when they were saying at the very beginning, we want to be able to speak Russian, so that you ever in your life was prevented from speaking Russian. I never spoke with anyone in Ukraine in Donbass. So the arguments were very primitive at the beginning. Now this is not even a theme anymore. Now it's a pure war for territory, and I think the Ukrainian army got the task to finish this, and I think our dear neighbor friends from Russia are doing everything to prevent this. So now it's war. You can hide it under different denomination, but it's a war from Russian mercenaries, mainly to try to take control of a piece of Ukraine, to create a zone of destabilization like in Ossetia and like in Prednistrovia and in other beautiful places. And now when finally the country starts to be in a shape that reconstruction could start, illustration could start, we signed this association agreement. Again, artificially a conflict is created. This occupation of Crimea is a separate subject. I'm not sure that it was handled correctly from the Ukrainian side. Now, if Ukraine wants to be independent and united, this situation in Donbass has to be ended. So I went there, first of all, because I know the country better. I wanted to show to foreigners all aspects. I didn't want that everybody just concentrates on Donetsk and Lugansk. I wanted to go around. We went again from Krasnodon or Starobilsk to Ukrainsk and other smaller cities. Mariupol also several times to show how things really are. And at the same time, when I was in contact with these first separatists and then terrorists, to explain them that they are wrong and try to push them in the right direction, asking them, but what exactly you want? Because 90% of the people who are first protesting and now fighting around, at the end of the day, except for the ones who are getting paid for this, they don't know what they want. So after 20 years, a part of you is Ukrainian and most probably will always be Ukrainian. I hate injustice, I hate things like this, so of course you feel involved and you want to contribute, to try to help, to change things with what you can do. There was a crazy funeral of one of the boys in Chernivtsi. He was having a Jewish funeral, but carried by fighters from Pravi sector. So Pravi sector honored the death of a Jew in Chernivtsi. So it was not about religion, not about fascism. I think Russia right now is behaving like a fascist state, but I wouldn't call globally Ukrainian nationalists fascists. I would call them patriots. And I think it's a moment in history where this patriotism has to exist and is important. There's no fascism in Ukraine. Pravi sector and the Svoboda did not even do in presidential election more than 2%. So what we talk about fascism in Ukraine, there's no fascism. There's nationalism, patriotism, and I think it's very much needed right now.